I think any session player would tell you that a lot of us, like, these pedals are getting tweaked a lot. And, part of the reason things like presets and stuff, in my opinion, don't really work in our world is because tonally, there's always a couple objectives. Yes, we're trying to have fundamentally a good tone. We all want that, right? Like every guitar player wants to say, hear someone say they have good tone. Two, we're trying to get a tone across that is honoring, what the point we're trying to get us across with the song, whether that's being rocking or whether that's mellow or whether that's a jazz sound or whether that's a spacey, reverb sound. The third, that's kind of the inner game, of tennis there is like the inside baseball is that we're trying to find a tone that speaks in the track amongst all the other frequencies that are happening in that track, right? It's easy to hear an AC/DC record and think like, man, those guitars sound huge. That's because there's nothing on it except guitars. It's guitars and bass and drums. Now, you get into a situation where you've got acoustic guitar and electric guitar and keyboards, multiple keyboard parts. Maybe it's a situation where you've got a fiddle in the band too, and you've got pedal steel. Maybe there's two electric players on the session. Like your harmonic real estate starts getting slim. And the reality is in a track, like only a couple things can really be the meal sonically of the track. If it's a day when your number's called and you get to be like the big meal of the track, that's great. But oftentimes you're trying to augment what's happening there and you're trying to find a place in there to give, some real good information. And sometimes even when you're the meal of the track, things like the tone of your reverb, the trail of your delays, those kinds of things can interfere with other instruments in the track. So the reason we're constantly turning knobs in here is because we're using our own ears in the headphones, but we're also taking direction from engineers, from producers, from artists and things saying, hey, it sounds a little dark in here. Can we brighten it? Can we do this? Okay. Hey, that's cool. It still feels like there's a little too much bass in here because it's like fighting with the actual bass in the track. And so you're trying to make those carve adjustments. Sometimes they'll say, hey, we love the modulation on the delay, but the repeats feel a little loud. It's like kind of getting in the way of some of the other percussive stuff that's happening in the track. And you have to get in there and weed through that kind of stuff. So, rarely to ever do I just walk out here and click two pedals on and go, yeah, all right, there's your tone. It's a lot of times of like a real conversation, and it's a thing that evolves over the takes and over the session to kind of get the spot where, your instrument is being heard the best. You're giving everybody else their runway, but you're saying what you need to say. And that's the reason we're always tweaking this stuff.